think we're live right now.
Hello, everyone. Looks like we're live.
Yeah. All right. So we'll try to keep up with the comments. We are in a bunch of Facebook groups. If you hear noise, I can't help it. So we're in a bunch of Facebook groups and we're on YouTube. Yeah. So welcome back.
Good morning. We took some time off, and we're back.
Yeah.
Back to Monday morning chaos. Dropping kids off at camp, having grass being cut right when you press record. All of those things, right? Just one of those summer mornings. So I guess some of you guys in the South are heading back to school this week. And then there are others like myself like us, who are going to have a good month still of summer and will be heading back in September. So wherever you are in your summer, hope your day is starting off well.
All right. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, I'm ready to start.
Okay.
I feel a little rusty, but I'm ready to start. Let's see. I didn't even bring my glasses to the desk, so we'll see if I can read these comments.
I think they're
Just your comments. All right. Well, I'm very interested to see what you have for us today in the means of ABA news.
Yeah, I just have a couple of articles. And let me share my screen. Okay.
All right, here we go. First news article for today, Colorado. Colorado RBT requirements, what ABA providers are actually saying. So the story for Colorado today, Colorado Medicaid has mandated that all techs providing ABA services must be registered behavior technicians by August 31st, 2025. The announcement, while intended to professionalize the workforce, has caused a surge of anxiety among ABA providers statewide. On social media and in professional groups, providers are expressing concern about the tight timeline, BACB certification backlogs, limited testing center capacity, and potential disruption of care. The state offered a 30-day grace period, but many still worry this is not enough. Providers are sharing strategies, contacting the state for extensions, and trying to keep services running while quickly credentialing their teams. Yes, I could see how all of those things combined could really cause some anxiety and worry about disrupting care.
Yeah.
So all ABA techs serving Medicaid clients in Colorado must be certified RBTs by August 31st, 2025. I wonder when they put this notice out. I wonder how long they gave.
It's not very long, right? Their grace period is like now.
I
We're in the
see.
grace period. So
Right, yeah, because
yeah.
we're August. What is today? We're in August, people.
Yeah. There is a Colorado ABA group that I would urge you all to join that in Facebook. That's very good. That's where I found this out. Um, and there is some talk as though it seems that the QABA cert may work. And maybe that will alleviate some of this, like, because apparently in a lot of areas in Colorado there aren't even testing area. Like, you have to drive quite a while to get
Yeah.
to a testing area. And then we all know, again, I'm not attacking the BACB, but it is what it is. Like, then once you take the test, it does take time to get the certification approval or whatever they do on
Their
their end.
process, yeah.
And like, you're basically, I think someone said that there were only 1,300 RBTs in the entire state of Colorado. So now, if everybody is now needing to get RBTs. Imagine the backlog.
Right. Well, anytime we're all like funneling into a system at the same
Yes.
time, I remember back in, I don't know, I don't remember what year, but when Virginia required BCBAs to be licensed by with the medical
Right.
board, right? And so everyone was trying to do it at the same time,
Right.
and so it took a lot longer.
Yes.
So yes, those challenges, short compliance window, the BACB testing center delays, and statewide RBT shortage. And, even across other states, it's not just Colorado that things are backlogged for the BACB. It's across the nation, I believe, right? So that just kind of throws another little wrench in there. And right, so the big thing is, right, to be able to talk to Colorado ABA, COABA, and your insurance, Medicaid.
So
And what I was saying is like the big piece here, right, is like disrupting care.
Yes. So in our article, there is the contact information for the person at the Colorado Medicaid. There's also the bulletin from Medicaid where they state this information, and then there is the bulletin from COABA. So I would just keep on following up on those three, and hopefully we'll find out soon. Again, like it sounds like the QABA would work, but I cannot confirm that at all at this point. So
that's something that we're actually going to be talking about more as we move into the fall is QABA. If anyone out there wants to come on who is certified through QABA, I'm starting my research to understand more about it, and because I do feel like it's important to talk about both, and I feel like QABA, we are hearing more about it, and more insurances are accepting it. I believe is so. Yeah, so if you are affiliated with them, please reach out. We would love to talk more. But definitely those recommendations. Okay, so let's say you are in Colorado and you're feeling this crunch. What can you do? Really start credentialing non-RBT staff immediately if you haven't already, figuring out how to help them, like support them through not only scheduling their exams, but studying for the exams. Because I know a lot of times, even years ago within our company, that testing anxiety is there. So how can you support your staff as they're getting ready to take these exams, especially if they're feeling a time crunch, right? And then communicating with the families about possible service changes and timelines. I think that's very important, to be completely transparent and letting them know what's going on so that they're not surprised, and maybe even giving them some suggestions of what to do if there is a break in services, or they're getting less services for a little while this is working out. Join state and national advocacy efforts. We already discussed that. And also encourage your staff and the families to notify the state also if there's a risk of service disruption. And then monitor official communications and FAQs from Colorado Medicaid and COABA to stay current on changes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah, I hear a little feedback there for a minute. Maybe it was just because I could hear what was coming up on your. I'm just checking for comments and questions here. All right. Well, what do we have next?
All right.
Now we talk about Nebraska. On to Nebraska. So, also Nebraska Medicaid, but this time talking about rate cuts. So, Nebraska Medicaid rate cuts, what ABA providers and families need to know. Do you want to do a sound check, or are you concerned about?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so Nebraska's Department of Health and Human Services has enacted new Medicaid reimbursement rates for ABA services. $18.70 per 15-minute unit for RBTs and $22.72 for BCBAs. This is a sharp decrease compared to previous rates. following a state audit. While these new rates are still higher than those in some states, providers are sounding the alarm about the sustainability of services. There's growing concern that these cuts could lead to reduced staff, loss of provider participation, and less access for families who depend on Medicaid funded ABA therapy. Advocacy groups and families are speaking out, urging state officials to reconsider or adjust the rate structure to ensure children with autism continue to get the support they need. So Nebraska is a newer state that I've learned about, like personally, and from the little that I know about Nebraska, um, they are in high need for BCBAs and I'm sure RBTs too, right? They're very they don't have enough BCBAs, and so this is the fact that they had pretty decent rates, high rates, I guess you could say, was potentially attracting BCBAs and companies to set up shop in Nebraska. But I guess there's a little concern that with these rate cuts that might delay or discourage those providers for opening up in Nebraska, because that's a pretty significant reduction, 48% for RBTs and 37% for BCBAs. The BCBA piece isn't as concerning because like you tend to make the money off the RBTs, but still that's significant.
Yeah, I mean those rates I believe are less than 100 now. So I mean that's kind of low for
That is
a BCBA.
that's like low average now for right.
Yeah. But the tech rates are still decent, but again, it's a dramatic drop. But I can also understand it because you look at we've talked about this with other states, and their Medicaid reimbursements have like gone up by billions of dollars, and so they're like, wait a second, how do we decrease this amount? So yeah, it makes sense that they would be doing this, and I don't believe that they're out of alignment. Again, the tech rate specifically with most of the neighboring states. So yeah. So again, it's a huge. If you were, if you're certainly going to feel it. You're certainly going to feel it when they do put these into place, and I don't remember the date when these go into place. But I would reach out to again Nebraska ABA. I assume that they have a group that I would reach out to them. I'd reach out to your state representatives, and it is definitely going to cause more delays because there aren't many BCBAs in Nebraska anyway, from what I understand, and so this is not going to make it easier for sure.
Right, especially I believe there are a lot of rural areas in Nebraska, and so those families in particular are worrying about losing access to care. So what can you do as an ABA provider, especially if you're in Nebraska or neighboring states even? Providers should assess the impact on their operations and communicate any anticipated changes to staff and families. Yeah, start looking at those budgets, and if you have our calculator or you want to reach out to us about our calculator, and start adjusting pieces in there so that you're not in that position where you're, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're just where things are, you just kind of, the bottom falls out, right?
Yeah.
Like you're adjusting as you go so that you can make those plans, and maybe you need to cut things in certain areas to be able to keep up with everything when you get these cuts.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they had high salaries in Nebraska because they could afford to have high salaries, and now you're decreasing those rates. That's going to be an issue for some companies, I assume. So these are things that you just need to, Yeah, you can't base, again, like, what is a good rate? We get this very often. You can't base your salaries on the rates that you get, and this is one of those reasons why. Because at any point, you can lose those high rates, and so what do you do then, right? And if you're subsidizing a poor funder with these higher rates, now we've lost our high funder, or they do what they did in Colorado and they demand RBTs all of a sudden. Now you can't even accept that funder anymore. What do you do? So, like, again, it's what is a realistic wage, and these are based on several factors, and we can definitely help with that if that's something that you need help with. But
Yeah, because it's definitely a big part of it, but it's not the only thing. There are, like you said, there are
yes,
multiple factors
yes,
that you look at in knowing how much to pay your staff.
yes,
Um, and even like when you're looking at opening a clinic, how much rent you can afford,
correct.
and all of those pieces, right? So like we said, track that financial sustainability and explore operational efficiencies to adapt to new rates.
Yep.
Join local advocacy efforts and encourage families to contact state representatives and participate in surveys. Just similar to what we said about Colorado, and this is like a great time to remind you guys, like, what we challenge you as business owners to do is to join your state ABA agent, or not agency, group,
Yeah.
and then also collaborate and connect with other ABA owners and other ABA agencies in your town, right? Join efforts, get to know each other. How can you help each other? How can you band together to, stand up to some of these issues?
Yeah, and one more thing on this. So on this Colorado article, let me go to it.
Those of you listening, just a reminder that you can look at the link in the show notes
Yeah,
to
news.3pisquare.com.
to find these articles online so you can look at them yourself. That's what Steven's like scrolling through to point out a specific point
There
now.
is CASP sent this form out. So if you all in Colorado could fill that out, it's in the story. It's at the bottom or in here. I saw this in Coaba's Facebook page. So if you're not in that group, I highly recommend going in. It's not Coaba's, it's just Colorado ABA. I would recommend joining that group. It's a very helpful group. And then if you're not, I would highly recommend taking this survey. I think that hopefully CASP can get in front of this and maybe get some kind of delay or grace period extension, something, when they can put those numbers in to see how many people are going to get delayed. I think that's really the only way that this is going to be stopped. So
I'm curious how many companies already have RBTs, or how many do have BTs, because if they know that they're accepting Medicaid in a certain state that doesn't require RBTs, and they're like, how many BTs are they high? Like, I don't know the numbers, like how many BTs versus RBTs in the state.
well, like I said, Colorado, like there was somebody that posted this. I can't remember who, but it was like 13 or 1600 RBTs in the entire state of Colorado.
Right, but how many BTs are there that are
Well, I
trying to
mean, there's
become
gotta be
RBTs?
a huge number
You
now.
think so?
Now, yeah, for certain. Yeah, there's probably, I don't know how many that would be, but I mean, Colorado is not a small state, right?
No, and I guess people who, like, agencies who predominantly accept Medicaid and they don't have private insurance may have not needed to
Yeah, well, they didn't need
become
it, and
RBTs yet.
then if a testing center is 3 hours away, this is not really going to
There's
work for
barriers
us.
there.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds really difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would take that survey. Watch out for the Coaba's bulletin. Continue to reach out to the Medicaid contact. They're also in that article. So yeah, just keep up with it and good luck. And if we hear anything else, we'll continue to add to it and go from there.
Yeah, in Colorado, those in Colorado, I don't know what you're called if you're in Colorado or Nebraska. Nebraskans? Coloradians? I don't know. Oh my gosh, I have no idea. But those of you who are practicing in Colorado or Nebraska and you're experiencing some of this and you want to reach out, we're here to help. And if you just want to reach out to collaborate and get, information out to share with others, we can help you with that as well.
That's it. We'll see you later.
All right. Have an amazing first full week of August.
Bye-bye.